Ain't nobody worried. Ain't no smiling faces. Oh, no. Tired to the races. Happy. Come on. Come on. Somebody happy now. I'll take you there. Happy, y'all. I'll take you there. I'll take you there. Oh, I'll take you there. Oh, mercy. I'll take you there. Oh, let me take you there. I'll take you there. Oh, let me take you there. Baby, take your hand. All right. Come on now, stay on it, stay on it. All right, baby, little baby, eat him, help him out. Come on, little baby. All right. I'll take you there. Ain't nobody crying. I'll take you there. Ain't nobody worried. I'll take you there. Nobody facing. I'll take you there. Lie to the rain. I'll take you there. Oh, I'll take you there. I'll take you there. I'll take you calling. Mercy. I'll take you there. Mercy. I'll take you there. I'll take you there. Oh, I'll take you there. Oh, I'll take you there. Take me by my hand. I'll take you there. Let me see the way. Oh, I'll take you there. Let me take you there. I'll take you there. Let me take you there. I'll take you there. Ain't no smiling faces. I'll take you there. Up in here, all in the jury. I'll take you there. You gotta I'll take you there. Take you on my ride. I'll take you there. All right. I'll take you there. All right. I'll take you there. Oh, I'll take you there. Yeah, I'll take you there.
Good morning to Baltimore and all of our syndicated cities. You are listening. There is a place, and we want to take you there on one of Radio One's favorite stations, 106.1 Praise FM. And you are listening to your co-host, Jamie Christon. I'm here with your favorite host, Dr. Matthew L. Jones. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Baltimore.
morning.
Good morning, D.C. Good morning, America. It's a blessing as always be able to come to you on Saturday morning. We are pushing and supporting and encouraging all of our churches to participate in helping focus on developing a mentorship program in the communities. We think that if we take this approach, that the economic approach towards crime, we believe that we can at least cut crime by 50% if we effectively utilize all of the resources that we have. And that's why we are promoting certain researches. But first, I want to really express my appreciation to all those churches that already participated and already involved
Yes, thank
and
you.
already working. And
Mm-hmm.
we are blessed to have one of the major pastors present today that we're going to be talking with him as he's involved and done many things. Been working also for 8 years at least over the United Baptist Missionary Convention. So we really
Yeah, we're
thankful for this
excited. Yeah, I want to hear
opportunity
about this new
to
life you have
come.
going on. A little freedom here.
So
Yes,
we are pushing this thought. We pushing an economic approach
yes.
to crime, an economic approach to crime. And I think, we've been doing this in January, and I'm glad to acknowledge. I'm not saying that they started these programs after they heard the influence or the encouragement that we are giving here, but in Chicago on May the 22nd, I happened to be coming through Chicago at that time. They launched Hope Chicago program, which a major economic approach in dealing with the community. And I believe in the next 5 years, you're really going to see the effect of that economic approach that they have in Chicago. This is what they decided to do in Chicago. They created a structure called Hope Chicago, and they selected schools, five schools. And in those five schools, they got individuals who made contributions and set up finance contributions for those five schools. That every student in those schools from ninth to the 12th grade will receive a full scholarship.
Oh, wow.
A full scholarship. Every school, every student in that school that would want to go to college or want to go to
Mm-hmm.
any kind of trade school or anything, they will receive a full scholarship
Nice.
from the ninth to the 12th grade. That means that the next 4 years from the ninth to the 12th grade, all of those students will receive a full scholarship.
Okay.
This is Hope Chicago. And not only that, uh, they will receive a laptop as well. Each one of the
Oh, wait a
students
minute.
will
So they
receive
get
full
a full
scholarship,
scholarship and the technology to go along with it.
technology to go along with it.
I love it.
But they made one step further. They got Janice Jackson, who was the superintendent of the public schools
Uh-huh.
in Chicago.
Okay.
She's gonna head up head up this program.
Okay.
And what she said that she would be willing to do it if they also would give full scholarship to each parent
Oh,
of
wow.
those children.
That want to go to college
That
and
want
want to better
each parent
themselves,
that want to
education.
go for
Okay.
further education, they give a full scholarship to each parent.
I love it.
Now, that's going to have a major economic effect on this. It's just five schools, there are many schools,
Right.
but the areas they have selected, they're going to have a major effect on the crime in that city. This is what they have decided to do. This is what they are doing. And the amazing thing, they had two individuals, I think, to give about one $25 million, other one gave $10 million, and that was May the 22nd, and by June, when they put this out, by June they had contribution of $100 million.
Wait a minute. So you're saying for a couple of months that they put the program out there?
It wasn't a month.
Oh, it wasn't even a month.
Not even a month. By the first week in June, they started May the 22nd.
May the 22nd.
These two individuals put up, 25, I think, $1 million, one $10 million, $25 million. And by the 1st of June, they announced that they had received $100 million
For this program.
for this program.
That's
I think,
awesome. That's
in
great.
other words, if we can encourage, now we are encouraging the churches, the first step, the schools, and we can encourage
Right.
the churches, the schools, and the businesses that take this kind of economic focus, then that we can have the same effect right here in Baltimore.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I love what Pew did. She tried to initiate the the next step of free education after college, after high school, which she allowed any student that graduates from Baltimore City Public Schools, they can go to at least Baltimore City Community College for free, like it's on the state.
Yeah, that's
So that's a big deal.
right there.
So Pew did that before she, left office. I thought that was amazing. So it means that there's no child in our city that at least doesn't have access to next level education. It may be an AA degree, and not a Bachelor of Science or bachelor's degree, but whatever the case may be, like that is official in Baltimore. If you graduate from high school in Baltimore City Public Schools, you can go
I
to
think we
Baltimore
need to
City Community
promote that
College
and
for
talk
free.
about that and encourage that.
Absolutely.
I know
Yeah.
our president, man, that had started that street watch program type,
Mhm.
where they put a lot of money into individuals who want to be on the street, who are going to be working on the street and giving support and guidance to folks on the street
Mhm.
and
Yeah, that's you talking about the new thing. The new
yeah,
thing
the
that just
new
happened.
thing that they are
Yeah, people are
doing.
talking about that. I don't know, Dr. Jones. Talking
Well,
about paying the squeegee kids. I don't know.
no,
It's different
not the
nuances.
squeezy one.
Oh,
This
which
is the
one are
other
you
one,
talking about?
not that one.
Oh,
They
you're talking
were,
about the guaranteed income program.
yeah,
So
the one.
that's the program in my office. Yeah, guaranteed income program for 24 months. We're giving families $1,000. You're talking about that? The guaranteed income program?
Well, there was another one that I heard them talking about
Mhm.
on one of their programs. That was Mayor talking about on one of their programs. That they got a director of the program here in Baltimore now,
Mhm.
and this director is coordinating this street type program, and they have allocated so many $1 million to
Dr.
go
Bunley's program, African American Male Engagement Office. Yes. Okay. So I know what
so
you're
many
talking about.
$1 million toward, that is an economic effort. I'm saying that,
Yeah, it's happening.
this is it's a little bit different, but this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to
Understood.
have to approach this crime problem from an economic perspective if we're going to
I
really
agree.
have real effect. So not only that, Norfolk, Virginia.
What are they doing out there?
Program similar that they're going to be trying to do in Norfolk, Virginia. We started this January. I heard that we were emphasizing economic growth, and they are actually doing it. What we have to do, they're going to have to step up. We're going to have to step up. We're going to have to
Counties and
encourage
cities.
young men and women,
Uh-huh.
old men and women, anybody who is in the community who having economic problems to go to the churches and talk to their pastor and have their pastor to tie them into the mentorship program, bringing them here and encourage them to participate in promoting them and getting them incorporated and trained and
So
dealing
bring
with
them
our
here.
attorney and get grants and
Okay.
money for them to set up programs.
So they can start their own businesses and
Yes.
programs. Okay. So you want to bring them here.
That's the
That's right.
place that
Yep.
I know.
Okay. I love it.
Self-employment and home ownership are economic. That's the economic development that I grew up in. That's why there's a place, and I'll take you there. That's where I know. I grew up owning our own stuff, on the farm. We still working hundreds of acres. My brothers own that same farm, even though I have added about a couple hundred acres I bought
Oh
since I
my
left
God.
there.
Right. Of course you have, Dr. Jones. Of course
But,
you
but
have.
but they still it was the type of experience that I had owning our own stuff, working for our own self. Matter of fact, raising most of the food that we ate, all the
It was raised on the
sweet
farm.
potatoes, all
I
our
love it.
potatoes, all the the vegetables, then there was
Uh-huh.
we were trained to can food, you know,
Oh wow. To
canning
preserve it.
your canning food, you put it in the jars, a quart jar,
Uh-huh.
and you can it. And we had a section that we pack all of these jars up in.
Uh-huh.
If you have all the string beans, all the stuff that you could can, and it would be just as fresh as when you just gathered out of the field.
Wow. See, that's what I'm talking
And
about. That's real
it was enough to
agriculture.
last all year until you do the next crop.
Oh, okay.
Understand? We can enough to last, maybe can enough to last 2 years. The canning process fixes so that it never get old. It can be there several years. But our focus was to can enough to last comfortably into the next year because we got another crop coming.
Okay. I like that.
Understand?
I want to farm.
Do your
That's what I
own
want to
thing.
do. Right.
That's what we emphasize.
Right. Okay.
We're going to help people, train people. And that's why industrial art is so important.
Right.
Now, I Google what the definition of industrial art. That's the second program. The
What's it,
first one
Dr.
is the
Jones?
combination of the church,
Google
right?
and industrial
The
art.
churches and helping the churches develop mentorship program.
Uh-huh.
And I Googled, I said, what was the idea of industrial art? This is what the Google said.
Tell me what Google said.
It says
Tell me what
Let
Google
me
says.
can I see this?
Can you
It says
He's got to decide.
right, exactly. What part he wants to read. So we're talking about
it's a,
industrial arts,
it's to
which is the
teach
second phase.
it's to teach subjects to both elementary and secondary schools that aim at developing manual skill and familiarity to tools and machines.
Okay.
Industrial. This means that now, this definition says elementary and secondary. That means they're saying that if you start teaching industrial art to even the elementary school,
I see it
elementary
right here
school,
in black and white.
yeah,
Yeah.
start doing it in elementary school, and can you imagine? And then it goes on to this will be 8 individuals become caterers, home daycare, shop, which means mechanical shop, and also shop for flowers, any kind of shop you want. In other words, to help the individual to create jobs that they own themselves, and you train them as a children, young children, and we say if we can do this in the schools, connect this to the mentorship program in the churches. So when they get this training in the schools, the churches will be there to aid them in establishing and setting up their business.
I like
Does that
that.
make sense?
No, it makes absolutely good sense. I think it's perfect. And I never even thought about starting in elementary school, which makes sense.
No, I
Like
was.
the younger that they are, the more, like, because what is it? You have to, in order to be a master of something, you have to put in, what is it, 10,000 hours? What's the saying? 10,
Yeah,
10,
yeah.
10,000. It's like, in order to be a master of something, you have to practice it and do it over a certain amount of time. So, of course, if they're starting elementary and middle school, which is secondary school, by the time they get out of high school, they will have mastered it versus starting in the ninth
And
grade
then they will
and
need
building.
guidance and
Uh-huh.
support from the churches and stuff to help them to establish their business, help them to get grants that ordinarily they will not be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we the attorney came to our program and talked about how she could assist in getting them grants and help them to incorporate and all of these things. She offered this to the churches and to the community. Uh, uh, Attorney in the youth.
Yep, I
She's
found it.
amazing.
Uh-huh.
You found
No, I found out what I was looking for. I said it says to become an expert in any field, to devote a tremendous amount of time and energy and hard work towards learning a practice skill. If you want to master something, you need to be willing to put in the time. It may take 10,000 hours or less or more. So elementary school would be a good start in order for them to get them some 10,000 hours by the time they get out of high school. So I think that's perfect. I love the concept. So
but
that's what we're doing.
yeah, the key factor is that there are individuals who will not be going to college.
Of course. Yeah.
There are individuals who are going to be on the street and don't have a job. There are going to be individuals who are not even going to finish high school. And these individuals would have the foundation. And our school here, we started elementary school, and we teaching these basic 4 principles and these basic, and been doing it here for 12 years,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why we're going
The
to have
Saturday school you're talking about, right?
Saturday school. Been
Okay.
doing it for 12 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And over those 12 years, we have people now who are in college, people who are working with the children who have come through this program and got this kind of training, and people who are involved in their own businesses now and involved in business. This is the motivation that this development of a square, wholesome and whole person. That's what that means. Development of a wholesome whole person to be economically strong, academically strong, aware of the situation. The purpose of going to school is to fix it so that you can have a comfortable life, get a
Mm-hmm.
nice job, a good job. That's the purpose of going. You're not going to school just to master knowledge. You're going to school to
Right.
master how to use that knowledge. Because actually, I think you're born with a certain amount of knowledge,
Mhm.
but you got to be trained. A lot of times, people have skills and never trained to utilize those skills and maximize those skills.
That's big facts.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what education is about. Helping the person identify their skills and master their skills so that they can have a wholesome and whole life. I believe if you're focusing on self-employment and self-economics, then I think there's no limit to the amount of money you can make.
Right. No
You know,
limit. No, I
if
agree.
you are studying and planning to work a job, then whatever job that you are striving to, there's a limitation on the amount that you're going to be paid. whatever job it is. If you're going to work a job, there is a limitation on what you're going to be paid. But if you design a strategy to have your own business, the limitation is only in your mind. You can
Yeah,
make as much as you think that you can make.
that is true. I can agree with that as a
You
business
agree
owner.
with
I
that,
like
don't
it.
you?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
very good. Yes. So there you have it. So we already talked about the first stage of the show, which is to show that spirituality, economics are one and the same, and that it comes from the Black church. And so the Black church is and has always been the strongest economic entity within our community, right? And so we want to the first stage of this mentoring strategy is, of course, to connect our business owners and our churches together so that we can build more business owners within our church and our community, right? Second stage, you just said, is to bring industrial arts back into the school. But now at first the concept was high school, so now are we like charging to like
We need to start
redefine this
earlier.
thing,
That's what
start earlier, right? Okay, good. So
because we
okay.
because I seek a little more information,
Mm-hmm.
and then Google is saying that we should start this in elementary school.
I believe that.
Yeah, elementary
That's the
school,
one thing I agree with Google. I don't agree with everything Google says, but that's the
and
one thing
then
I agree with.
and then home ownership tied, mortgage tied with your job, home
The third
ownership
phase,
tied with
yeah.
your employment.
Mm-hmm.
That's the third phase. You know what we saying that the major business, and I think even the minority business should focus on that element as well. We should work with individuals. We hire folks. We should have work if they're willing to agree to tie their employment with their job. Then I think we should assist them in getting their tie their
Employment into their
mortgage.
home.
I mean,
Yep,
tie
yep.
their
Mm-hmm.
mortgage with their job.
Mm-hmm.
We should insist. We should assist them in getting their home, and they're working for us and tie their, you know, deduct their mortgage from their home. You know, so a lot of these individuals have difficulty qualifying for homes for several reasons. It could be their school is too
Yeah,
low.
credit, not they don't have
They
closing
hadn't
costs
had
or
a
different things
job
like
long
that.
enough.
Yeah.
A lot of factors that
Uh-huh.
block them from having their own home. So we who have strong business,
Yeah, we who have strong businesses, meaning John Hopkins, Under Armour, Dr. Jones, like those people, if you work for Proper Solutions Group, which is my business, I will help you to find out the resources. But no, Dr. Jones,
you
like,
can't,
I'm not.
you can't,
No,
and
I'm
I
not a big
think,
boss like you. Mhm.
no, I think we should, we who have strong business, there's
Yes,
a lot of black folks who have strong business.
I agree. Hmm.
They should also do like we are suggesting that the major business do. These individuals help them. You know, I'm working with several employees right now who have come to me and request that I help them to acquire homes,
Hmm.
and we're in the process of trying to do that for them.
Okay.
And it's at this stage, it's an individual effort to assist them to do it. I have not attempted to tie it with their income, but I think that's the next step that I should discuss with them.
Yeah, but you know what, Dr. Jones, that's awesome because even like you said, as a smaller business owner, even if it was still more as helping your employees, even if it's just to save for closing costs, where you set up something
That's
within
what
your
we're
system
doing
where you
now.
take out certain money out their checks, where
That's
they
what
don't
we're
even
doing
miss
now.
the money because they don't
Yes,
get to see it, and then
that's
you save it
that's
for them. So
exactly
it's
the
different.
stage that we are doing now
Nice.
with these.
Okay.
I say I have not tied that in with their home ownership. In
Uh-huh.
other words, I have not taken the initiative to acquire the home and fix it so they can own it and deduct it from their
Right.
salaries.
Okay.
I haven't done that, but we are laying the foundation where they accumulating adequate funds and showing them how to acquire properties at without a major amount of money to do it. I'm helping them to understand how
Okay.
to do that.
Are you hiring? Because that sounds good. That sounds
Yeah,
like something. Yeah.
I
Okay.
am
Good.
doing some hiring
I need to
because
come
I'm
work
opening
there.
up another program in Randallstown.
Oh, that's gonna be open soon.
Well, we have some difficulties of getting the county to completely release the program
Always.
because they've
Mhm.
been leasing it for the last, leasing my property for the last uh, 12, 13 years.
Okay.
And I notified them 6 months earlier that the lease will end, and at the ending date, apparently they weren't quite ready to go. So they should be out in the next few days.
Nice. Okay. Look at Dr.
And
Jones
I will.
moving along.
So later on this month,
Uh-huh.
we will start the process of getting that ready for individuals who who are interested in working in that program in Randallstown. But we do have individuals that we have assist to get all of the training. We have paid for their training. We have paid for their, the qualification that are necessary to operate. We have paid for all that for them. And so that's already been done. I've already done that. So I'm encouraging other people to follow suit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I saw this. I live from paycheck to paycheck, but not exactly. But but
That is funny. Now I'm gonna laugh for
and
about
I'm
10 minutes when
people.
we go on this thing.
I'm not far beyond paycheck to paycheck, and I'm helping people. You
Right.
understand? So
No,
all I'm
that's real.
asking those businesses, and we were fortunate enough to have a business here last week. Uh, One of the major black businesses that started some time ago that had a lot of property. His son, who was a member of this church, and his mother, and he they have a major business going
Oh,
on,
nice.
and
I missed them. You gotta
they were here giving support last
last
week.
Saturday. Okay,
Mhm.
that sounds good. That's awesome. So this is good. So today we have Dr.
Yes,
Maddox with us today.
yeah,
That's who's here, and we're gonna
Mason,
talk with him.
Mason.
Mason, I'm sorry. I always that's why I said I
You
looked
get
over at you. I'm so sorry because I'm
Perkins
terrible with the
Square.
names.
We
Right,
have Perkins
exactly.
Square,
Perkins Square
and
here
we're
in the
going to talk with
building.
Perkins Square. We're going to start right now, and the rest of the
Well, no,
hour.
yeah, 11:27. We're gonna
Yeah,
go to break, and
we're
then we'll
going
be
to.
back after the song.
Yeah, we're following this song because
Yeah,
it's time to make a
time to
change.
make a change.
Time to make a change. Is it time to make a change?
I think so.
We encourage the churches to make this change. And here to listen to this song carefully and understand what it's suggesting that it because we what I'm challenging the community to do, only we can do. We can do it. The churches.
It's simple and plain. This ain't no game, you know what I'm saying? What? Yep, yeah. Here we go. We are the people who can do it. Oh, yeah. It's time. Time to make the change. We are the people who can do it. Yo, Mom, kick it for me one time. What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is running from the truth. We don't care, that's fine. Walking through the night. We're the people, we can do it if we try. We can do it. Somebody do we have to go through it. It's just a test of what we're living day to day. We don't know where, we don't know when. It's time to go again. It's time about that time. Oh, time to make the change. We are the people who can do it. It's time. It's about that time, y'all. Time to make the change. We are the people who can do it. Yo, Mom, keep it for me one more time. Jesus is spreading mighty fast. Earthquakes are moving through the land. It ain't nothing but a sign. Let it make up our mind. For the people, we can do it. Try. I know we can do it. Somebody ask me what do we have to go through it. It's just a test of our faith. Just a little day by day. Don't know where, don't know when. But it's coming. You know what? It's time. About that time, y'all. Time to make the change. We are the people who can do it. It's time. Time to make the change. We are the people who can do it. Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love. Sent by one from heaven up above. Think of it, it's simple and plain. This ain't no. I know we can do it. Somebody else said, what do we have to go through it? It's just a test of our faith. We're living day by day. Don't know where, don't know when. It's just a Here we go. It's time. About that time, y'all. Time to make the change.
We can do it. We can do it. We can do it.
Welcome
We, the church, can do it. And now we have with us the outstanding pastor of Perkins Square Baptist Church,
Okay. Good morning. So we have the pastor Perkins Square here with us, and so we're going
And
to.
past president.
Oh, wait a minute. Past president of the convention for 8 years. Let's be all the way clear, because that's what I'm excited about. Anyway, that's going to be like my first question to say, well, how is life after the convention, after 8 years of serving? Like that's kind of pretty much what I want to know. But of course, introduce yourself to our listeners, and let's go from there. Dr. Matt Mason. Yeah, why do I keep doing
Okay.
that, Dr. Mason? As we go.
What an honor to be here with you today. Oh, Lord, 8 years serving as
Hmm.
president
Right.
of the United Baptist Missionary Convention of Auxiliaries for the state of Maryland.
Hmm.
And this after season is still a transitioning period. Getting used to having relinquished presidential responsibilities, and but it's still busy.
Okay.
It's still busy because we're involved in the community. We're still trying to deal with the crime issues in the community.
Okay.
Still trying to maintain families getting what they need to survive in this season. Um, in fact, even now, we are distributing 400 food boxes to families in the
That's
community.
awesome.
Um, and at the same time, we're ministering to a family that had lost and having a repast with them. Um, but there's a lot of issues, multitude of issues, and we just got to try as best we can to help navigate things. Um, there's still much work to be done, and you don't have to be president of the convention to be working.
That is facts.
In fact, I know that a lot of churches are struggling between, do we open or do we close? But there's a lot of work still to be done. We can't allow COVID to shut us in to the extent that we are not out there doing the work. And so doing the work means coming outside the doors of the church, being engaged in the community. This is a political season right now. We want to get our people out to vote. We want to
Yeah.
encourage our people to be conscientious of the issues and make good decisions about who our leadership is going to be.
Hmm.
Uh, and of course, there's a lot of weighing to be done, and we still are dealing with, healthcare disparities and all the rest that has been before us. So,
Been serving as president for 8 years. I know when I came out of the presidency, I had to work diligently catching up on stuff that I had not been doing at the church. There was a lot of stuff that because I'm trying to motivate and lead the convention,
yeah,
there was a lot of stuff I left undone at the
okay.
church that I had to come back and try to restructure,
I
and catch up.
understand. I understand that, and that's why it helps to have helpers.
Right. Okay. There we
So
go.
there was a lot of delegation during that time, and of course, we had the luxury of doing some preparation ahead of time to have people in place to maintain some things with regard to church ministry. But I had days when I devoted it to the convention, and days I devoted it to the church ministry. So we tried not to leave the church unattended. So we,
Okay.
were
Good
able
My
to.
strategy.
disadvantage was that we were in another location away from this
Hmm.
church.
Hmm.
And it happened that the demands there happened to be down there
Yeah,
was
yeah,
so great until it limited me having
Yeah.
chance to come here,
yeah, yeah. Well, it was helpful having the convention office and church office
Right
right
together.
there together.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I can understand the
So you have both of your
dichotomy.
offices in the
Yes,
same location.
yes.
Okay. Nice.
So, I could go across the hall and be in the convention office and go back across the hall and be in the church office.
Okay,
It was
okay.
convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah. But working the convention for 8 years was a tremendous opportunity, but a tremendous challenge. Because when you're trying to motivate leaders um, who are at different vantage points in their career,
Mhm.
you want to be, yeah, you want to be intentional about your leadership. You have some clear goals that you may have set, and you're trying to attain them. And in the meantime, there are what I call divine interruptions. Something
Okay.
comes along that was not anticipated,
Mhm.
but is a challenge nonetheless. The COVID challenge was a challenge that really gripped leadership in new ways. You're having to deal with something that you've never had to deal with before. And it's not like we had prophets all around who were telling us, this is coming, this is coming.
Mhm.
So I think that, if you're hearing God, if you're really committed to your devotional time and you just can't get too busy with the business that you negate or neglect your devotional time with God,
Right.
God will lead you through these unexpected seasons. We're not expected to see it all or foresee it all because God does that. And because He knows what's ahead, He can navigate you through. And I think that that has been one of the chief challenges for pastors and leaders and others who are trying to do work in the community, trying to do ministry. Um, and there's a lot of um, younger leadership that in our town has come, and linking with them, um, finding ways you can work together because
Mhm.
the ideals are different.
Right.
Um, the interests are different,
Totally different. Yeah.
and the way they see to do ministry versus the way we saw to do ministry is different. And
Solid.
so there's a continuing meshing
Uh-huh.
because I think we're at the place where we're having to learn from them and incorporate, but they also need to learn from us.
They that is the key. That is what
Yeah.
we need to be charged to do. Young people need to be charged to learn because that's what I think the young generation, like you said, they have their way of leading and their way of doing things, but they don't want to still carry on with traditions that are solid.
Hmm.
That's what I think, right?
But there's an economic factor
Hmm.
that doesn't change.
Yeah.
That part.
Economic,
Well,
Right.
there are a
the
number.
purchase, yeah.
There are a number of economic factors, and um, one of my pet concerns for pastors, and especially for young pastors, they're coming into the pastorate, and church is changing.
Mm-hmm.
So the support mechanisms that used to be there for pastors have shifted such that pastors need to look at what they do from a new perspective. Don't just be a pastor, but be an entrepreneur.
That's it.
Be
That's
a
it.
pastorpreneur.
Yeah.
You've got
I like
to,
that pastorpreneur.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to learn how to pastor and how to handle business at the same time. So we
Mhm.
used to, pastor, and we said, well, let somebody else handle the business. Well, we're at a place where you can't separate the two.
Mhm.
You really have to bring the two together. Um, on one side, you're seeking to make things better for the community that you serve. But we also have to have our eye on how you can make things better for yourself. You've got to look at what you need to do to plan for a future retirement. And life for so many young people is so immediate in the present that there is no thinking about the future. And
Mhm.
so when that future comes and becomes your present reality, and you are 60,
Mhm.
65, and you don't have all of what you used to have when you were younger,
Up the creek without a paddle.
you know,
Up the creek
if
without a
you've
paddle.
not
There you
prepared,
have
if
it.
you've not prepared for your own retirement, then you kind of are forced to stay with the church and stay in the pulpit and try to do what you do because you need to make a living.
Right.
And it's just a bad place to be.
But if you lead the church in a way, in an economic way, there are things that all, for instance, let's start with Concord. Uh, there was an acquisition of apartment there, an
Mhm.
acquisition of houses, an
Mhm.
acquisition of 7 acres of land in Harford County, retreat center. And
Mhm.
went on. Matter of fact, one of the main reasons they had me to come here because they discovered my economic approach to ministry.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I was supposed to do in the last 2 years was to help the church to create an assisted living here in the community that would provide all of the economics that the church needs in order to not even have to lift an offering. You understand? So that's what I was supposed to have done the last couple of years, but the pandemic blocked that. And though that's I don't want to put nothing out there that I don't want to be out yet.
Okay.
But that hindered me to make the move that I wanted to make by now.
Okay.
Well, call for rerouting.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the challenge for a lot of what we are about as the church. We've got to reroute what we were intending to do because our purpose is still there and we've got to meet our purpose. It's just that getting to the end result of your purpose may require that you do some things differently. So, making use of social media and the like are some of the things that we neglected for a long time. It was kind of like when television came along and people said, well, that's the devil. We ain't gonna fool with that. That's the idiot box, right?
Right.
Well, little did we understand until we began to see it emerge as a tool for preaching the gospel, a tool for reaching people with unique messages that would bring them in to what it is we were seeking to do. So just like we had to shift and make use of television, I mean, I really believe that God was just so wise. He didn't allow these things to come about for no reason. He allowed them to come about so that we would find ingenious ways of making use of it for what God intended. And so as we seek the beloved community, we want to make the beloved community strong. We want the community to be healthy. We want the community to be economically sound. And we got churches all around. I mean, we probably have at least a church for every bar, liquor
Right.
store
Exactly.
that's out there, right?
Right. That's what I was
And
saying.
we need to be involved in making sure that the community is economically stabilized. Now, that's going to require developing some partnerships that would be unique and different than what we've been accustomed to doing.
I love where you're going with
So
that.
we can't just work churches and churches and churches and churches and churches. Some of our partners have to be people in business
In the community that's right
who,
across the
who will
street.
invest
Everywhere.
in our communities
Yeah.
and help them to become strong anchors where people can get a job and support their family, where they're making a living wage and not just a little something.
And that's what we're going to bring the business church together. But also the businesses have to understand if they do unite with the church, they become economically stronger.
Right.
So the church can give them, you got enough parishioners right here to make any business very successful.
Absolutely.
If the business tie in with the church. You understand? So that's one of the key factors that we are pushing. Let's tie together.
Yeah.
And we can build a community.
Well, I think that, the link is so important because on one side, there is that spiritual and moral integrity development that needs to take place in the community. All of our community is not bad. What we oftentimes hear on the news are the sensational stories of, another carjacking, another murder, another kid got shot for whatever reason.
So we did not, young man talked to me last night. We did not hear, he was on this show. And every Sunday, he got groups in the community where he reaching the community, reaching out, helping the children, helping the folks in the community. We don't hear about that story.
Right. Because the sensational stories that capture people's minds and where the money is, quite frankly, is with these stories of the bad things that is happening. And so there needs to be, in my mind, there needs to be a good news station, where people can tune in and hear about the good stuff that is
Praise
happening.
106.1.
There you go.
Good
One
news.
on
This is a
what
good
Praise
news
FM.
station. We're bringing the good news to the community. And we want them to tune in to Praise 106.1 and
That
hear
part,
this good
Dr.
news
Jones.
that our past president is bringing to us even this day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because listen, one of the things that we know is happening in our community is a new wave of depression. The church has a key role in combating that. We've got to
Right.
first acknowledge that it's there.
That it exists. Yes.
And secondly, we need to help bring the resources to the community to help them combat the depression.
I think I talked about this last night a little bit.
Yeah, yes, sir. If we can get people in a better frame of mind and help them to spiritually navigate themselves well, they will have opportunity to take advantage of those economic and social things that are taking place in the community. And if we emphasize that good, then you will multiply that good.
I agree.
Our children are looking for some positive things to embrace. We just need the connection to take place. We need people who are willing to stretch out their hands, build relationships. And isn't that what the church is supposed to be about?
Absolutely.
Building relationships. If we build relationships, we can build relationships with the squeegee kids. Now, I don't agree personally with paying somebody not to commit a crime.
Right.
I think that there's a better way.
Of course.
I think that if there is economic incentives, it is economic incentives towards your good.
Yeah.
And if we as a community get back to embracing that, I'm talking about the African American community. I know that we want all communities to do well, but I'm part of the African American community, and I've seen so much of the negative stuff that has been kind of attached to us as if all of us, just because the color of your skin is what it is, you're criminal, you're least likely to excel intellectually or in education. That's not true.
Absolutely.
And we have to be the ones to demonstrate that that is a myth that has been perpetrated upon us. We are intelligent and we do have the opportunity and privilege of excelling and accomplishing great good. And if we continue to lift up the models, the examples, we've been talking about Westmore and we've been talking about, some other people, Ben Crump and others who have been doing wonderful things in our communities across the country. We need to continue to lift up those stories and share with our young people, this is what you can do. This is who you can be. And don't let anyone rewrite your story.
I like that. Don't let anyone rewrite your
Tell
story.
you that you can't do it.
That's it, because you can.
Jeremiah 11 says what?
Why know the plan?
Yeah. I know the plans that I have for you, declare the Lord. Plan to
Prosper you.
not to harm you. Plan to give you a future, hope. So that's what
Yes, sir.
that's what he's talking about.
Yes, sir.
God. This is saying that in every individual he had some kind of skill.
That's right.
Some kind of gift
Mm-hmm.
that God has put in that individual. And usually we need to be the instrument by which we guide that gift and motivate them and help them to identify. A lot of times we get to be 60 years old before we identify, hey, I had this gift. And and we all are, like I went through college, there were 5 of us in college from my family at one time. Went through college, we shared meal cards and all that, we struggled. And after I got out of college and started motivation speaker for the insurance company, I discovered I had a gift to sell. I said, I wish I had known this in college, because if I had known that I had that gift to sell, I could have paid for all of my I was challenged when I was doing a motivation speech at an insurance company. One of the agents said, you think it's easy, why don't you do it? I said, okay. Now, I just took on the challenge. I didn't know I had
You
the
had the
gift,
gift
right?
to do it.
Yeah. So I took on the challenge. After a couple of months, the vice president called me in and said, we're going to have to change your contract. You're certified it for a whole year. Then when I was about another 3 months, he called me back in. He said, no, I don't want you to sell no more. I want you to teach black folks how to do it, right? Now I was working at the university teaching. I was pastoring the church. I was doing all this stuff. Now they want me to take on another role, teaching agents how to sell who've been selling for 25 years and I've been selling for 6 months.
And that was just a gift that you
That was
had.
a natural gift that I didn't know I had, but it was brought out in this experience. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do. We want to, as the church, we want to help them to identify this gift that they have, and if they utilize their gift, all there's endless success can be available for them.
No, absolutely. And you share that and charge it. And so what is like so Perkins Square, like okay, so we know about Concord every week, right? Concord, we know that they have activities, they're involved in the community, and Dr. Jones has the school and the properties and everything. And so which means I feel like you're involved. You're involved with the church you're involved with the community outside of the church walls, right? So Perkins Square, where's Perkins Square located?
We're located in West Baltimore at 2500 Edmondson Avenue, right at the corner of Edmondson and Warwick.
Say it again.
We are
Say it again.
2500 Edmondson Avenue in
2500.
West Baltimore.
2500.
And we have sought to touch the schools in our local community. It's really been a wonderful journey to see how certain things have been connected. We actively participate in the work of the community associations, both Evergreen and Rosemont.
I was going to ask that you guys are right there on the cuff, so you have
Yeah.
you're kind of in the middle.
Yeah,
of two
we're in the
communities.
middle, but we work on both sides.
Okay,
And
that's great.
And it's been wonderful to participate in helping the community identify issues that were a challenge and then see some of those things change. Every community, as I have seen Baltimore, has some of the same issues, but you can take what's working in other places and duplicate it to
Absolutely.
make things better where you are.
Mhm.
And so we're learning from other people, and some people are learning from us, and it's just been a joy to see a community. Now, am I satisfied? No, because there's always something else that could be done to make things better. But we've got to invest ourselves where we can and do all that we can, working with our politicians, working with the residents, engaging the young people. We started in the midst of the pandemic a mentoring program with youth, young adults mentoring young people.
I like that.
So that's a way to keep young adults involved with the church. We give them the space. They're doing the real work.
See, that's what I like. You said you give them the space, and I think like just I feel like I'm in the middle. Like being 40 makes me like not too young,
You're not
not
here.
old. So I'm in the middle, right? So being
You're
40,
not
right,
here.
right. So
You
I'm
40?
yes, I turned 40 September the 2nd, right? So being in the middle,
I
right?
thought you was 25.
I mean, I know, thank you so much. I like to say that. But so it's like being in the middle, that is kind of the biggest dilemma that I've seen, even just being a young person in the church and just being to where bringing me to where I'm now, that like there are few pastors that allow young people to kind of give us the space to implement things. Of course, we don't want to, like, I know in my case, in my circle of church people, we don't want to change the church or change things because of course there's a lot of traditions and things we've learned from our parents and people in the church that we've watched that of course we want to keep and incorporate, but there are not a lot of I'll say ministries or pastors that are willing to allow the next generation to come in and kind of give them to space to build. And I think that's really and that's what people love. Like young people love learning from people that didn't cross that bridge not too far before them. So I think that's a great concept. So kudos to Perkins Square for that.
Well,
I think
thank
that's a
you.
big
They
deal.
have a lot of creativity.
Yes.
If you let them do this, let them work in. And there are individuals, there are adults though, who is able to communicate with them. And that's the amazing thing. Utilize those adults who have that relationship with
Yes.
those young folks.
Yes.
That's important.
Yes.
That's what it is.
And it really excites them.
I tell you, it's a big deal. So yeah, and so shout out to Perkins Square, shout out to Concord. You guys are doing the work, Concord. And so if you are listening and you want to know Concord, we just always got to plug in Concord. We're located at 5204 Liberty Heights Avenue. If you were listening to the show and you just want to be a part of the movement, you want to come on the show, you have questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to us at 410-367-1117, 410-367-1117. Of course, we're here at Concord. Again, we're located 5204 Liberty Heights Avenue. But of course, Perkins Square is located where?
2500 Edmondson Avenue in West Baltimore, 21223.
There you go.
And you can call us at 410-945-0445.
I love it. There you go.
Emerson Avenue. My business is straight up Emerson Avenue.
We know, Dr. Jones.
Yes,
You
sir.
can
Sister
find
Living.
us.
We own Emerson Avenue.
That's
too.
right. That's right.
So yeah, but life at the convention is you're still working. That was the main thing I wanted to
Absolutely.
find out. What is it like 8 years later? And now that you've relinquished it, but you're still working, the transition is happening, and you're still keeping you're still keeping your same movement and your same implementation. You're still keeping it going,
Yes.
even though you're not the president.
I'm keeping it moving.
That's right.
But it's opened the door for some other things.
Nice.
We're working in social justice to help bring about social justice for our people. Working with Bridge, Maryland. So while one door is cracked, it's still open.
Right.
I'm
Let
still
me-
working
let me
with
say
the
this
convention.
before
There you
I
go.
forget. The
Mhm.
time changed tonight. Time
Oh,
is
time
changing
change
tonight.
tonight.
6 o'clock. Back 1 hour. Back 1 hour tonight. Time changed. So let me throw that in before I fully quit.
Yeah, but thank
Yeah.
you so much, and we're excited. And I love Perkins Square. That's kind of been the home for the last couple of years for me since I've been a part of the Women's Auxiliary. But thank you for coming today and sharing with us, and we hope you're gonna come back. You
Absolutely.
come back and give us an update of what you guys are doing,
Absolutely.
especially with this social justice thing, and then maybe you'll come back. We'll have a conversation after we after the election, the governor's election or something like that. Kudos, shout out to Wes Moore. And yeah,
Don't
we're
forget
here.
Tuesday we all vote.
That's
We
it.
all are
Matter of fact,
voting.
I've already voted.
Okay,
I
early
voted
voting, right
early.
there you have it.
I voted
But
early.
thank you guys so much for listening to There's a Place. We want to take you there on 106.1 Praise FM.